I'm going to be doing a little bit more complex shape layer animations, and I'm using Jenny's homework as an example. So where she's at now is the earth pops up, type comes in, and then there's a light sweep that goes through. Now you'll notice this is a flat image in the background. And what I want to do is use these flat 8-bit, very graphic shapes, and I'm going to show how to bring easy life to them. So that's what this is going to be about. And then I'm going to talk about displacement maps. So that's going to be the new thing we're tackling tonight. Let's do the rocket ship first. No, we'll do the comet. So what I want everyone to notice, you see all this artwork that's diagonal? The diagonal lines give it a sense of dynamism and like more kinetic motion. And I like that look, but it's harder to animate at an angle, okay? So that's why I always say, when you can, work top down or from a side view, then pre-compose and rotate everything. Makes sense? So what I'm going to do, when I create this comet, I'm going to make it a perfect side view. Then I'm going to pre-compose it all together, and then I'll rotate it. I'll show you. It's the number one rule, is show, don't tell. All right, so let's grab that color. Get rid of the stroke. And I'm going to work on this shape next. So I've got that. Let me do a rounded for this. So when you're doing the rounded rectangle tool, you do your twirl down, and that's how you can get to your roundness. That's a pretty good guess at how big this should be. Let me make just a little bit bigger. A little bit taller. Okay, I'm happy with that. I've got the head of my comet, and I've got the tail working already. What's the fast, easy way to make sure that these move together? Parenting. So I'm going to parent the tail to the head. You could use the pick whip on your layer, or you could use the drop-down menu. So now when I move my head of the comet, that moves with it. Now let's take a look at this 8-bit tail of the comet, which I like a lot. What would you do to animate that quick and easy and create that? You could use a trim path. That would work. Yes, that's one way. Oh, well, like I said, there's more than one way. I'm going to show you something new. So what I'm going to do to create this, I'm going to use the pen tool. So I got my pen tool. I'm going to click, make sure nothing's selected so it's its own layer. I'll click once, click a second time. This is why I'm working from a side view, okay? So that when I want to animate this, I'm only animating the x-axis, because if I do it at a diagonal, I got to animate the x and the y. Make sense? Let's get rid of that fill. And it's all going to make sense in a second. Now we'll go to our stroke. Let's do the darker red. Take a look at this and take a look at that. What do I need to do to get that look from the artwork? Instead of butt cap, round join, now I've got that rounded look on my stroke. See, I'm looking right here. Now, this was when I did that thing with the trim path showing, the advanced trim path stroke, and I talked about round cap and round join. Adam said I could animate a trim path to change the length of this, to give it some flicker. Yes, he is correct. That will work. That's one way. I'm going to show you a second way. I've got my shape layer selected. For this to work, you must be clicked on your path stopwatch. I did not create a keyframe. I just clicked on the path stopwatch. With my path stopwatch selected, I go Window, Create Nulls from Paths. There's 3 options. For this animation, I'm going to do points follow nulls. I click once, close the window. I've got a null where each path point was. So I'm going to name them. This is the tail, and this one is the head. I'm only going to animate the tail. The head, I'm going to parent to the head of the comet. I'll show you why in a second. Now the tail. Oh, wait, I named those wrong. Okay, so this one is not going to get parented. I'm sorry. I dragged the wrong one. This is the one going to the head of the comet. Okay. Check this out. P for position. Now remember, with position, you can right-click and choose separate dimensions. I only want to animate the X to give this some life. So what's the fast, easy way of adding some life to a stopwatch? Expressions. So X, I want it to wiggle on that dimension. So I'm going to hold down Alt or Option. You got to hold it down as you click the stopwatch. I start typing, double click to autocomplete. Let's do twice a second, comma, and an amount of, let's do 30. And I got to click out of my expression. I'll hit the space bar. That's not comedy enough. I'm going to do 6 times a second, an amount of 90. Look at that. Quick and easy. Everyone got it? I could get this tail, these 3, precompose it, hit OK. Duplicate that, Command D. Oh, wait, I see what happened. Okay, all right. Here's why that's different. I'm going to delete that one. I went and I edited my expression here like a goober. So I'm going to paste in my original. There's my original. If I duplicate the tail up here, Command D, then I drag it down, and then I just change where it's at. Now all I have to do is edit the expression inside this one. That's because, like I said, 110, let me click out of there. Now let's see if that's different. When you change a pre-comp in your timeline, it's going to change all instances of it. But if I duplicate it up in the project panel, then bring the duplicate in, then I can change it. So I can duplicate this one, copy it in, move it down, change the expression on it. Let's try 15 times, and then we'll do 140, click out. And now I've got all that quick random life. Any questions on how I got that quick and easy? And then I could just bring this original one down just to fill out my comet. So now I can grab all my tails and just center them. Like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this, recompose it together. I'll call it comet. Move all attributes into new comp. We've got that happening. Now it'd be nice if I had this following along with that. So let's try and fix that tail now that we've got this happening. I do this. Let's see. What's a good way of adding an offset to the whole thing? Okay, so I'm going to keep that on for now, just because I'm too lazy to figure that part out. But there's a way of doing it. So I can get this comet, put it on the diagonal that I wanted, and animate it across the screen. So I'm just going to go P for position, move forward however long, and then move it off the screen. See? Like that. Already, that has far more life than this still image. Let's try a little bit of texture in here. Just for the fun of it, let's do new solid. Call it noise. Okay, I'll put this to the bottom. Add some noise in here. Now, the original artwork had an 8-bit look. So let's try blocks. I think there's a blocky one. Yeah, there's block. Yep, see, already we're getting this. So I can take, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to put it in here. I'll put it behind. Let's hide that. There we go. And I'm going to use the pre-comp as an alpha mat. And additionally, I'm going to duplicate that. And I'll use it as a blending mode. So let's try color. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's try color dodge. Okay, we'll do color dodge. So now I've got the motion plus some texture happening. And I can just adjust contrast as I need to get the look I want. I could go into my transform, adjust the scale. I could also rotate it to match the angle of the comet. See the difference? Already a big difference between the static image. So again, that's why when I animate straight on or from a side view, then I pre-compose it and bring it in at the angle I want. Any questions on that? No? Okay. So that's one way of doing that. And then, let me see, the comet head. Let's give that a little bit more contrast. There we can see a little bit better now. There you go. Just like that. And that's how we got that look. We would do the same thing for the rocket ship, just using lines and animating them that way, especially with the Nulls. Now, I'm going to turn off the noise for a second. I'm going to hide this. And I'm going to show you what it's going to look like if I roughen this up, just the outer part. Right here, the tail shape. So this is very geometric. So once again, I'm going to make a fractal. So I'm going to go layer new solid. Okay. Put it at the bottom. And this time I'm going to do turbulent noise. So if I throw that in there, and let's try smooth. And I'm going to explain displacement maps in a second. Okay, so here's the way displacement maps work. Pure white will go in one direction. Pure black will go in the opposite direction. Mid-gray will do nothing. Every value towards white or black will move a fraction in that direction. And I'll show you what all that means. I'm going to do a very small fractal noise so you can see what's going to happen. So if I go here and let me pre-compose this. Move attributes, and I'm going to hide it. So on that tail, I'm going to put a displacement map. And I'm going to put on the tail right there. I'm going to choose that pre-comp of the fractal And already you can see what's happening. It's displacing. I'm going to click here to turn off my path so I can see this better. Let's see, how big do I want to make this? Let's go like that. There we go. I'm happy with that. So I've got this look. Now, if I animate my fractal, this displacement will be animated. So if I go in here, I can now choose a direction. My comet is going in that direction. So I'm going to animate my fractal in that direction. So if I go to my transform, I'm going to click offset turbulence, and I'm going to want to make sure that's going off that way. Yep. And here's what it's going to look like. See? Like that. Okay. Now I could do other stuff. Evolution. Whenever you see this, you can add the expression time. So I'm going to click. I'm holding down Alt or Option while I click there. Time, asterisk, and I give it a number. Let's do 100. The higher the number, the more it's going to evolve. So let's see what that looks like. See? Far more interesting now. And it's got a less geometric shape to it. So I'm just going to grab everything, move it over a little bit, give it some room to displace. And there we go. So now let's look at it in our scene. Is it still displacing? Yeah, I can see it displacing at the end there. Like such. So that's taking geometric shapes, making them look less geometric, as well as an intro to displacement. And I want to show you something. So in her logo here, the Earth pops up. Here's a little trick. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to make a new comp. You can fake rotation. Just going to do a circle right there. If you've got a flat view of whatever, you want your terrain to be, use the shape, the round shape as an alpha matte. So I'm going to my mattes, set my alpha matte. Let's scale that up just a little bit more and move it down a little. All right, so if I just animate this from side to side, making sure that it stays on inside the shape. I don't want to see a hard edge. Like there is a hard edge, so I'm going to stop there. Now we've got a fake rotation just from animating the image inside and using the round shape as a alpha matte. So look at the difference between this and that. And this only took like a minute to make. Using alpha mattes is a great way of faking depth and adding life to things very quickly and easily. And displacement maps help add some organic and random motion to your elements. And just a quick recap with the fractal. White goes one direction, black goes the opposite direction. You can always scale it up or shrink it down. That'll influence how much we're seeing there. So if I go from 179 to here, see how that changed? We're seeing less of it now. I'll hit undo. There's the difference. So it's not just think about how much contrast you have and what type of shape you want to use to create that fractal, but it's the direction you're moving it using your transform and your offset turbulence. Like if I wanted to fake a campfire, I'd have it moving upwards because the fire is going up off the ground as the heat makes it rise. And let's take a stab at this tritone look. So if you do the same thing we did with the comet as with this rocket, you could parent that streak to the rocket ship. So as the rocket moves, that moves with it. Does anybody need to see that? All right, no problem. That's what I'm here for. All right, so I'll call this rocket. Okay. Okay, I'll do a triangle for the rocket shape just to save time. So if I go down to here, and I'll do 3. There we go. Fill, blue, sure, right about there. And I'll get rid of the stroke. Okay, so I'm going to work sideways again, just to give myself more space. Let's rotate this. All right, so this is the head of the rocket. That. So what I did was I'm going to move my anchor point. I'm holding down Command or Control, snap it to the bottom middle. All right, so again, I just had a path that I drew, and give it a stroke. What color is it in here? It's like a light blue. Okay. We'll do about that. So they've got rounded edges. So I'm going to go into my stroke right there. Give it a round cap and a round join. And I'm going to shrink that down just a teeny bit to about there. Everyone with me so far? Okay, so here's what we're hitting home tonight. When you click on path, the word path, and you go window, down to the bottom, create nulls from paths, I'm going to choose points follow nulls. And that's going to make my point follow the null. All right, so this is the tip, the one I'm going to want to animate. So I hit enter, null, tail, and then this one's the head. The head, I'm going to parent to the rocket so that whenever the rocket moves, that moves with it. That's the beauty of using nulls to animate your paths. You can parent them to things and the path must follow. Doesn't have to be just side to side. Or if you're animating an arm, you could parent the hand or the foot with the leg to that null. And then you can create your walk and keep your whole character together. So the tail, P, again, I'm just going to separate my dimensions by right-clicking. I'm only going to animate the X again. So I'm going to put a wiggle expression on that. Double click. Let's do 9 times a second, comma, 115. Click out. Instant motion. I'm just going to put my rocket above in the layer stack. Like that. So I've got one created. If I pre-compose all of them, right-click, pre-compose, I'll call it fuel, pre-comp, move all attributes. Remember, if I want to just duplicate that, I've got to do it in my project panel. Command D. Now I can put it in here. I can move it. I can change the color of it. I can alter the expression. I'll do all of that because that's what we're here for. I'll lighten it up a little bit. And I'll change the expression. So if I go wiggle Let's do 12. And we'll do 130. Click out of it. Go back here. Like that. See? And I could just alternate them. So fuel 1 is the darker blue. Command D to duplicate it. Put in there. Move it down a little bit. And I can just change the expression on that one too. So let's do 7 and we'll do 95. Click out of it. See? I can grab them, position them how I want. There you go. So if the rocket, oops, Daisy. I'm going to grab all 3 of these pre-comps now, parent them to the rocket. So as the rocket moves, they move with it. And then I can put my rocket into this scene. I'm going to name this, I'll call this main animation. And let's see, we've got the rocket right here. I'll add my rocket into my main scene. Rotate it so it's going in the direction I want. I just move it. Have it come in when I want. So there goes the comet. Here comes the rocket. Animation hierarchy. What's coming in? When's it coming in? How's it coming in? It's like that. I can even put it above so it flies over, or I could have it go below. You know, it's all up to you as the animator. You see how I got more life out of this inspiration? And lastly, let's try and go for that tritone look that I was talking about. Okay. And this is the last thing we'll do. So I'm going to draw my shape. Got this. Let's give it a fill. Get rid of the stroke. Okay. Now let's mess around here. Orange. All right, so let's see. I think if I give this a gradient. Okay, now we're starting to get the tritone effect. Okay. So now let's add that noise. Back here, paste it, put it below. Let's do a Luma mat instead. Nope, okay, now. Sure. I'll duplicate that, use as a blending mode. Forgot to turn it on. That's what's, there we go. So let's mess around with our fractal. Already we're starting to get some interesting results. Try. I'm going to go back to blocks. One sec. And then I'm going to non-uniformly scale this. Let's try that. But that's just adding a little bit, like messing around with texture, blending modes. Just try and push these shapes to make them look less flat and less organic. I mean, we could just do the same thing with the strokes and then use the shape as an alpha mat. That's always another thing. So I'll do that with, I'll combine all this together. One thing. So I know what I'll do. Let's grab these 3 fuels. Like that. So that's what the artist did. So if I grab these 3 and I duplicate this shape, recompose these, call it I misspelled lines, that's fine. I could use the shape above, again, as an alpha mat, and then give those lines the same color blending mode, like that. So that's what that person was doing, is they just kept using rounded strokes to create this look and layered them. Make sense? Again, we can get a rotation look by just animating the displacement of that if we wanted. Any questions on any of the stuff we covered tonight? Parenting, using the Nulls. Having the paths animated by the Nulls allowed us to parent them to things. So it's like, do one more thing. And this is going to be a good intro to character rigging. Let me get rid of my fill. Give it a solid right here. Okay, so if I go shoulder, elbow, that's the wrist. And I'm going to give this rounded again. Go to my stroke, round cap, round join, make this a little thicker so everyone can see what's going on. So this is my basic arm, okay? Or it could be a leg, same thing works. I'm going to click on the word path, go window, create nulls from paths, points follow nulls, close it. So this is my wrist. This is my elbow. And then this has to be my shoulder. Okay, fine. So if I move my shoulder, the path point goes with it. See that? If I rotate it, watch what happens. Nothing. Everyone see that? Watch this. This is what confuses some people. So you saw nothing happen when I rotated it. I'm going to get my elbow parent it to my shoulder, get my wrist, parent that to my elbow. Now that stuff is parented to this, I can rotate those individually, and it keeps the volume of the arm. Everyone see that? Additionally, we've got nulls. You can parent things to nulls. You can parent nulls to nulls. So I'm just going to draw a quick hand here. That is the best hand anyone has ever made. Wow. That's, you know, I'm almost 50 and I'm still amazing myself. Look at that. Michelangelo would be proud. Okay, so I'll call this hand. It won't even let me because it's so perfect. There we go. I'm going to parent the hand to the wrist. So now when I rotate my wrist, hand rotates with it, bend the elbow, hand goes with that. Boom. That's the power of parenting your path points to nulls and then parenting nulls to other things. Make sense? All right. That help you out, Jenny? Okay. Like I said, I'm going to give you this file. Let me save it down too. We went over displacement maps, but a fast, easy way of displacing is just using Turbulent Displace. So go make a new, here we go, for my cloud. Boom. Okay, so this will work with paths as well. So if you throw the Turbulent Displace effect, I'm going to move my playhead. See how nothing's happening? See that? Now, if I hold down Alt or Option, because here's evolution, I'm holding down Alt or Option to start my expression. I'm going to do time, asterisk. The higher the number, the more it's going to evolve. I'm going to do 50 because it's a slow day out. So that's what we're seeing. Let's do 30. Okay, so now the amount, I can lower the amount, make it more subtle. See that? And then the size, we can adjust to our taste. Now the offset, I can click that stopwatch, move ahead, and then just have it go sideways, like the wind is blowing by. That's a bit too much for the cloud, just because, like I said, it's a little unnatural. So let's lower these numbers. That's a little bit better. So that's just some soft, subtle life. And I'll have this move less. There we go. See that? It's ever so subtle. But see the difference? Mm-hmm. Okay, and here's another thing I want to go over. Subtle does not work well very far away from the camera, okay? So if this is really far back in the background, that might be too subtle to notice. So you might have to up the values to make it look subtle. Make sense? Okay, so the effects obviously I'm missing, but let's take a look at everything else. So got this going through. It's starting to look really nice. Let's see. I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide that. There we go. Now I can see what's going on. It's a really nice light ray. Is that CC light ray? Let me click. You got some great chromatic aberration happening. Yeah, I know. Okay, so there is chromatic aberration. I never used that version of it. Okay. So which one should I be in? Should I be in here? Okay. So when this happens, then your strike through happens. Okay. If I'm looking for the one that has the, that's nice. Good job. All right, that's really slick. Why am I not seeing the, yeah. Oh, all right. I see. Mm-hmm. No, I see. Harass a senior day. Okay. So let's see which one it should be. Like, it looks like this. Okay. So this is happening. Then the glow is that. All right. So you might need to do it twice, like one on each thing. Okay. So have a good night. I'm going to, let's just say it goes straight through the middle. Okay. Just for the fun of it. There we go. No fill. That, and we'll say about that thick, just for the fun of it. Okay. And I've got my selection arrow. I've got my layer selected. I can go to add trim paths. Let's see, the trim paths will happen after every letter's up, right? Right there. Okay. So remember, start is the first one we drew. End is the last one. We're going to animate the end because that's the direction we want to strike through. So I'm going to go here. We'll go forward however much, change from 0 to 100. Let's see if that's too slow. Okay, that should be fine. You could easy ease them by hovering over, right clicking. We could also change the speed graph, have it slow into the last one. It's really whatever you want to do as the designer. Click out of speed graph. Okay, so there's our first strike through. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it into there. So they both line up. Got it? What is this? Oh, okay. So it's got to be in here. That's where it's got to be. So here. I'm going to cut out of here. I'm going to put it in here. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-compose all these. All attributes. And this will be an alpha invert. So I'm using 2023. That's why I've got the drop down here. And then I choose invert like that. So this is where you get your invert from. If I click again, it's Luma. That's your alpha. But in the older versions, there's a second drop down for the type of track mat you use. That makes sense? Okay, so there goes the strike through. And then we'll do the same thing here. Let's see. I guess it's here, right? What is it? Oh, it's this. Okay, so if I do this, then do invert. That's happening there. That's happening there. What's going to happen if I add it here? Just to be consistent, you know what I mean? Like I said, we've already got it. So invert it. It looks like they're all covered now. see. Let me see something. Is this happening? See, this is punching through it. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Like, yeah, but we should be seeing a little bit of that underneath here. You know what I mean? That's what's confusing me. In your 32 bits. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. Let me see something. All right, have a great night. I don't even think we needed it here. It's weird. We should be seeing that stroke now. I mean, you know, a little bit of the effect through it, but it's so bizarre. Yeah, that's that. If I go in here. We already pre-composed that into that. But you see how it's working here? Let me see something. Wait. You ready? That was called something like. Let's click reveal to find it. Little shortcut. You could right click, reveal. Right here, pre-comp 1. Okay, so check this out. Was this the one I was looking for? Yeah. I'm going to drag pre-comp 1 in here. Why are we? Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Okay. Oh, wait a second. Okay, wait. I think I figured it out. Pre-comp 1 has the light rays in here, okay? So if I paste those light rays, let me turn the glow on. So we're missing an effect. So that's part of it. Yeah, so you got to watch what's on the pre-comp and what's on inside it. You know what I mean? But now we're starting to get more closer towards it. You know what I mean? See how more powerful that is? Mm-hmm. At least a lot of it's working here now. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'd have to do that in each one, but at least now you can do that on your own and line it up and all that. But at least we've got that part working, you know? Okay. Well, that was fast and easy. Yeah, like I said, it's just a balance of precomposing your stuff. And then if you put an effect on a precomp, you gotta make sure that effect is on other parts where you need it. That's all that was. So there's a quick parallax recap. Okay. Go throw all my images in. Okay, so this is my modes. You could always tell because mode is right there. There's my modes, track mats, parenting. Here, toggle switches and modes, click there. And these are your switches. So I'm going to 3D enable all the layers I want 3D enabled. With me so far, Umar? All right. So that's set up. Now I'm going to add a camera. Layer, new, camera. I'll just do the default. Okay, camera's in the scene. Parallax works best when there's a lot. I'm going to hit P. When you're spread out far on Z. So X, side to side, Y, up and down, Z, closer, further from the camera. So if I go positive, it's going to send it away from the camera. So I'll do 1500. I'll keep this one at 500. I'll make this one 0. And I'll make this one negative 1500. So they're spread out pretty far. So the first tree, I'm going to move over to the side a little bit. This tree, move over to the side a little bit. This one. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. If you're just going forward or back, like this, you still get that parallax relationship. So what I do, let's pretend this is the starting point. So I go to my camera, have a good weekend and a good break. I click on all my stopwatches, okay? Just because I don't know which ones I'm going to be wanting. So now I'm just going to move forward however much I want. And it only keyframes the ones I need. So that's your straight push in. I used the zoom tool right there to do it. Make sense? And again, like you're saying, you could put the bend effect on anything you wanted. Like, I'm going to pick this tree right here because it's in the shot the longest. So here's a little bonus tip for a bend. So the base is what's not moving. The top is always what's swaying. And you could always click the crosshair and then click what you want. Now, the trunk wouldn't really be bending. So I could go up a little higher because the branches are what would be swaying. And then I click where my top's going to be. See how that's a little bit more realistic? So think about where the base is. And I just add my expression there. So I hold down Alt or Option. I could do the wiggle. Oops. Double click to autocomplete. We could say like twice a second, 20, click out of it. And that's a little too much, but let's do once a second and we'll do 10, click out. That's a little better. See? That help? Yeah. Do you want this for reference? Yeah. Okay, so I'll do save as 18. I'll call it. Oh, this is. Oh, yeah, I see it. I really like the text reflecting on the ground. It's coming off very strong. Oh, like past it. So that's just your layer order, your layer stack. So, but that's the. I saw the. Oh, okay. All right. Wait. It's above it there. And I want to show you something real quick, like with the TV set. I see you. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this real quick so that nothing happens to it. I'm going to hide this one. Okay. So I'm going to hit U right here. And I'm going to delete all the keyframes for it. Okay. Let's just make sure I didn't undo anything. Oh, yeah. So everything else looks right? Yeah. I want to show you something. So if I go T, let's try. See the difference? Like giving it some flicker, but I also want to show you one thing. Let's keep it up. All right, so if I were to go here and you know what? Wait a second. We'll copy this and we'll get rid of it. Because I'm going to show you something. Let me just try something. Undo. So if I'm going to try, see if this works. Okay, so watch this. You ready? This is the puppet pin tool on the type. I'm going to drop down the resolution. See, now we get a bit of a streaky type of look. Oh, but now that's happening. That's absolutely bonkers. So we're going to undo that. Another thing we could try is this. So I've got nothing selected. Pen tool. Click. There. It's a little bit. Change the thickness. Make it match. Obviously, we're going to give it round caps, round join. Stroke. Round. Round. So this will definitely 100% work. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pick a dark color of your blood. Get a touch thinner. And then let's just change the start right there. Okay, good. That lines up. Okay, so check this out. Selection arrow selected. Shape layer selected. Add trim path. So let's go to about here. And we'll just animate the end. So I go forward. And here's what it's going to look like with the... let me see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I didn't click the stopwatch. It's that long kind of day. Yeah, so yeah, you knew where I was going with it. All right, so let's check that out. So if we like the way that looks, yes, see? So what you could do is duplicate that, Command D, and just slide it over to wherever you want to add one. And let's just say we did one more. You could do, like I said, you could do as many as you want. And you could also change their timing. Okay, so let's pretend this is what we want and it's final. You could take this and the ICU, precompose it, move all attributes, then hit T for transparency, then hold down Alt, paste in our expression again. Now let's see what that looks like. See? Look at the difference in that. So now you got the drip and everything tied into it. See? Gives it a little bit more life. Yeah, so does it give you some, and then you could figure out when you want that to come in and out, you know. So yeah, but it's looking nice. I like what you did. That help? You can do a lot with shape layers, you know, because it's like you could attach it to the font, make it look like the font is, you know, shrinking or growing, all that fun stuff. Yeah, and if we did like gradients on and all that, we could push it even further. Next time I'll listen to the sound, but I don't know if I have the sound file. So if you have that in Google Drive, then we'll link it here. Or breaking glass sound too. All right, have a great break. Yeah, and the best thing with doing sound, I showed before, but I'll do it one more time. Let me see. Oh, I do YouTube. Yeah, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get there. Okay, so this is just a recap on how to, This is a recap on how to get to free music. In YouTube, go to your YouTube channel, YouTube Studio. Far side, audio library. Now, this is what I do. I click on the upside down triangle. Attribution not required. This way you don't have to say the song was Ice and Fire by King Canyon. Okay? So attribution not required. Then you can choose any other parameters you want to weed by, like mood or duration or genre. So if we wanted to go genre, country and folk, hit apply, and then it has to be 3 minutes long, you got to do 3:00. And there's your options of country music that are attribution not required, at least 3 minutes long. Not a lot. Sound effects are harder to come by. But I could take a look around if you tell me what you're looking for. Oh, you know, I'm going to show you. Oh, and then obviously you just click on download to download. So I'm going to grab a sound file real quick. Here's a song. Okay. So I'm going to make a new comp. Okay. Here is my amazing logo. Got it? Here's my sound. I dragged it in. Now, when you need to line up music or audio sound effects properly, twirl down again, and then twirl down one more time for waveform, and you can see where the waves start. So if you wanted it to start here, you just find the wave that you want to line up. Right there. That help you? Yeah. All right, cool. Any other questions? All right. And yeah, if anything pops in your head, just write me over break. Excellent. Make sure to delay left.